Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take a look here at Solana, see what's going on. See how strong this support range held for us, huh? I'm kind of kidding. 197 to roughly 203 is still that potential support range. Again, if we look at the daily time frame, we're still in decent shape depending on where we close today. I'm not trying to give you some consolation whatsoever. While that kind of technically is, we need to treat that previous support range as a resistance now too, right? So we got to be mindful that just to not be we want to be cautiously optimistic. While Solana is showing a lot more strength than the majority of altcoins today, it still pulled back pretty heavy when Bitcoin pulled back too. So we just got to be mindful of that. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do a little bit different. Instead of just looking at all the the time frames, identifying potential shifts in momentum, we're really just going to look at the overall overextensions as well as liquidation, and kind of get like a just kind of more of a bigger perspective on what's going on here, right? So the more important stuff, the meat and potatoes, so to speak, instead of just the typical grind. So just kind of throw it out there, let you know that's what we're looking at here today. I think it's important when the price pulls back, what are some good dollar cost average targets too if the price continues to come down, right? So we'll take a look at that. Let me go ahead and update that really quick here and then just make sure we are good to go. Let's not do that. That's the wrong button. All right, let's go ahead and save this guy and continue. So what we want to look at first of all is the liquidation. First things first, we take a look at this. Very concurrent with Bitcoin. There were liquidation levels as low as 93,000. Bitcoin's recovering perfectly after sweeping that lower level. And we're seeing roughly the same thing here. We had liquidation as low as 189, and all that local liquidation has been swept. Granted, this is the last 12 hours. This is more closer time frames. And we take a look at the weekly. I'm speculating it's going to be similar because that's what Bitcoin's time frame was the last week. We saw a majority, if not all, that swept. We can see any late long at 192 just got taken care of there. So truth is here, this is pretty much par for the course. Nothing super outrageous here. And we just want to kind of recognize too here from a macro perspective that we are looking at 182 as the potential next area of liquidation if the price continues to run, right? So I'm expecting us to see a little bit of a relief rally here because I think that Bitcoin is probably going to continue higher to its 95,500 mark as a rough estimate. That's the previous resistance. Was supposed to work as a support, kind of did for a short while, and then essentially just see a rejection off that level to that low 90K range. There is a ton of liquidation at 91,000. If you take a look here, see between 90 and 91.5, that's like 50 to 60 billion in liquidation. It's pretty insane. So I don't think Bitcoin's done pulling back, but I think it's tentatively done pulling back for the moment. And I think we're going to see a little bit of relief here to buy the price back up to the 95, 96K range. The reason why that's relevant is because Solana's following suit here. It is overextended as well. We can see we moved 40 hours in the same direction without correction. Something's got to give, all right? We're also seeing this RSI bounce off 30 for the most part as well, which is a common place to consider buying in just from a bit of a day trader's perspective. Okay, so let's take a look here at the daily, time to work our way down, see what's going on. And just to recognize here too, Solana isn't in dire straits, but the truth is losing the 20-day SMA, this 197 would not be great. We're trending towards that, of course. We're currently below it, but the daily candlestick hasn't closed yet. The key takeaway here is that closing somewhere in the 197 or higher would be nice because you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attempts to break that level. It did. Now we're back down below it. Hypothetically, that could still work as a support if, of course, we close at that level or higher. So we could very well see a bit of a relief here to close above that. That's not super relevant. I think we should presume that 197 will be the new resistance. But let's double check. Now, if we do take a look here, we can recognize under all moving averages, for the moment anyways, minus the 200, the SMA is under 50, or RSI is under 50 rather, we're above or below a few SMAs. It's still too early to tell, honestly. We're kind of still determining where we're going to be. So honestly, when I look at this here, I kind of have this neutral disposition, like, okay, Solana could continue to break bearish. We haven't truly broken the macro descending trend, but we also haven't broken through a key level support. So there's a lot of like circular conversations you could have about this because it's kind of pointing in both directions. The key takeaway is that Bitcoin's calling the shots right now. If Bitcoin continues to pull back, Solana will too. But the good news is Solana is very close to a 1-to-1 ratio with Bitcoin. It's pulling back roughly equal to it. And there's a ton of support proven in the past here in the $185 to $200 range for Solana. So I personally don't think we're going to see a price point under or sub 175, 185, just based on the simple fact that I feel like we got to give Bitcoin a chance to hold the 90K range, right? So that's kind of where we're at there. So that's pretty much the easiest way to understand it here. There's not much else we can really look at that's going to be definitively amazing. There's no hidden bearish divergence, some magical, red or green, X's on the charts that we're going to be able to find this mystery, this amazing scalp or entry, right? Right now, it's all about letting the price action stabilize for the majority of the market. Bitcoin dominance, for the most part, is on the increase last couple of days. We're seeing a ton of money flowing away from altcoins. Well, that can change pretty quick. The one thing that doesn't change is the fear and greed aspect of things. And right now, a lot of folks are just scared selling. They're selling too much too quick. So it leads me to believe we're probably going to see a bit of a relief rally. So simply put here, for Bitcoin, my anticipation is for Bitcoin to essentially continue higher to the 95 to 96K range. If that were to happen, that would put Solana in the rough estimate of $197 to $200 range. So there is still potential. We got to keep this in mind. Price action of Solana hit that 200 mark and pull back. So if you're in a long, maybe consider securing profits or closing your trade in that 200 range, because that's just notoriously a strong resistance or support level. As you can see here, that once the price broke down below it, it tried twice to get past over 200 and didn't. Okay. Obviously, the whole market was moving a little different too, but for the most part, that's where we're at. But if you do take a look at this movement here and you combine that with Bitcoin, Solana was making higher highs and higher lows at the time, and Bitcoin was not. So again, I do personally feel like Solana has some of the better charting, so to speak, or better support in this range. And I think that for the most part, this coin is a little bit safer of a bet to take a long position with, if you were to watch it close and make sure that you're not just going to 300 with your long. Okay, you got to keep your targets reasonable. Either way, that's kind of where we're at there. We technically have an open long here with Solana. So again, you got to keep in mind when I say all this, I'm purely talking abstractly. It doesn't matter if we have a trade open or not. What's important is to recognize that the correlation between the altcoin that you're trading and Bitcoin, if it's ridiculously dumping versus Bitcoin, it's probably not the best coin to take along with. Solana has proven to be fairly strong, even though this doesn't look like it. The price action does look a lot better than the majority of the other coins. So that is a thing that's a very real thing. Either way, I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, Discord here. I'll go ahead and get some updated information, and I hope that you all have a good rest of your day. Deeply appreciate you again being an amazing part of my life. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have yourself a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon. Take care.